What is good? How are we doing? Can we hear me? Mic check, mic check. What it do? What's good? What's good? What's good? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Man, feels good to be back doing some lives. Let's get it. Back boys at the voice. You guys will still eat it up. We'll talk about that. Smoking swag, the 92,000. I only imagine the nonsense that was full of. Hate to see this, but been there, done that. Yeah. All good on the audio. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm just going to wait for some people to get in here. How's everyone doing? What are y'all smoking on? What are y'all smoking on? Okay. Okay. A little more people. What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing? Drop in the chat. Where you watching from? What are you smoking on? What are you watching from? Where are you watching from? How's your day been going? Let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. We're almost there. Get some more people. By the way, guys, make sure you guys are going over to the LMC THC YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. I'm going to be going off the LMC main channel in probably 45 minutes an hour, and then the rest of the show is going to be done on the LMC THC YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed. Okay, let's get it. All dude talks about lately is how bad the industry's gotten. It's getting annoying. You talking about me? You talking about me? Maybe a little bit, but yo. What's going on, Pink Panther? Okay. It's kind of funny, dude. All dude talks about lately is how bad the industry's got. Okay, first of all, we talk about genetics. We talk about a bunch of different things that are not just super, how bad the industry's gotten. But yeah, we talk about a lot of shit with the industry. I won't lie. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people wouldn't watch if it wasn't. Us as humans, we're programmed to look at negative things. Unfortunately, it's part of our human instincts to survive, right? Anyways, point being is I definitely hear you, but you know. So interesting stuff here, folks. Interesting stuff here. So I'm sure most people are aware of what the LA Times article that came out about a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, maybe. And it really blew up. I mean, let's just be honest. This is like Vape Gate 2.0, right? Now, for folks that aren't aware, highly recommend. Hold up. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So there was the Vape-ageddon, or whatever you want to call it. That definitely happened. Was pretty impactful. Damn, how he just did a better video, huh? Got 1.6 mil. I got 48,000. Anyway, I don't want to get claimed or anything, so I'm gonna. So if you guys haven't seen this documentary I did about a little over a year ago about dank vapes, this was kind of like the initial, vape crisis, right? This was literally people died, right? Um, people died. Okay. Now, this one,
for this particular type of packaging, dank vapes, the CDC last week confirming.
Okay, let's just watch a little bit of this. Then we're going to jump into what's going on currently. We're going to talk about, this is just to give you a little context of potentially how this could have gone. Obviously, this is a different situation. It's more about pesticides and like long-term exposure. And anyway, we'll jump into that. Let's jump into this though. You guys haven't watched this full thing, go watch it. I'm gonna play the first like 1 minute or 2 minutes maybe, and then we'll jump into current day. Make sure you guys hit the like button, or wherever you're watching on. If you're watching on X, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever it may be, make sure to hit the like button. Support your boy. Subscribe to the YouTube channels, by the way, if you guys haven't. Make sure to subscribe to LMC THC. That's where all these live streams are going to end up. I'm going to be logging off the main LMC channel soon. Also, subscribe to High Design and Retro Tech. Anyways, let's jump into this.
For people to utilize a popular brand's name recognition. Usually when we think about knockoff commodities, counterfeits, we think about clothing, technology, jewelry, and more. Typically, knockoffs really are a way for people to utilize a popular brand's name recognition and brand equity as a leverage point to sell said knockoffs and make money. While yes, there is money being potentially lost for the actual legitimate brand, it still is an indicator of that brand and their products being extremely popular and highly sought after. And over time, brands typically will develop some system to authenticate a real product, like for example with Jordan or Nike. Right? They've developed different systems to make sure that consumers would stop getting ripped off. But like I said, besides the brand maybe losing some money or the consumer getting scammed and losing some money, but besides that, I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right?
According to the latest numbers from the CDC, 2,290 cases were reported.
What's the worst that could happen?
From 49 states.
Sorry, not to laugh too. There's people that died this, and not to laugh at that whatsoever. Really tragic. Like I said, if you watch this whole video, they talk about some of the cases, but it's just crazy, craziness that happened back in 2019.
40 deaths have been confirmed in 25 states and the District of Columbia.
It took his brother from a healthy 20-something to this.
Within 24 hours, he was being medically sedated and put into a medically induced coma.
DeGrave says his brother bought the vape vials off the street. In fact, we're looking for this particular type of packaging, dank vapes, the CDC last week confirming of those patients in Wisconsin and Illinois who had reported the dank vapes brand was used by a staggering 66% of them. I talked to a young man named Fabian who was using the dank vapes Gorilla Glue.
We had 2 samples from the illicit delivery come in as dank vapes. They were labeled as such. And they had some of the highest array of pesticides. One sample had 51 times the legal limit.
Okay, go watch that video. You guys haven't seen it already. It's pretty interesting. Talks about dank vapes, the brand. It's really more so about the fraudulent fake. I mean, and this is a different situation, obviously, but it's definitely in the exact same vein. And it's really an issue that hasn't really been fully cleaned up. And there's a number of reasons for that. We're going to jump into those reasons. But like I said, 2019. Let's set the stage. Really, so 2019. Around the country, people start to get sick. Some people die, like 48 or about. And I see somebody in the chat said that Your mod did. I'm so sorry. If I have, I'm so sorry. But yeah, hot dog water, right? Fake vapes, right? Pretty much the problem with, usually when people fake your brand, right, it's typically kind of a good thing, right? I mean, it showcases the the equity, the brand equity, and people are choosing to put that fake packaging. The problem with fake packaging and the problem with fake carts is that the people that are filling it don't have any SOPs or any regulations, and that really, that led to people adding vitamin E acetate to these vapes, right? In some cases, and that's what led to people's deaths, right? Now, 2019, I can remember, man. I mean, I saw countless. I mean, I saw like a multitude of different companies go out of business all around the country, like, and this is in the legal industry, right? And really, this is touching more so. This was the black market, right? This was the black market. Black market's doing was fake carts. So in 2019, we kind of saw the vape crisis hit the black market, right? Now, what we have here with this LA Times article, which is, I think a lot of people have been knowing this to a certain degree for some time, but I think because it was the LA Times and it was a well done article. It was well researched. I actually interviewed Alex Halprin from Weed Week. We actually got a full documentary coming out on this pretty soon. But because, a combination of different things, this LA Times article blew the hinges off the door, right? And this was more in regards to the legal market, right? This was specifically targeting, looking at different legal, recreational shops, or not shops, but recreational brands in the California market. Okay, so think about this: 2019 black market, huge scare, people die. 2024 LA Times article showcasing a bunch of really, really nasty pesticides, potentially, right? And it really just showcased a massive problem with the labs, right, or the testing, the overall standards for these products, right? And I definitely think that, in general, I'm going to be real. Like, I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm not trying to hate in these products. I think in general, and this is just me and I'm not hating on anybody too, because like I to this day I'll smoke them from time to time. I think distillate and cartridges, I mean, in general, are like really not the healthiest way to consume. Not taking that away, I'm not trying to say don't necessarily smoke. Do what you ever want. Do what you want to do. But I mean, over the years, I've just been like, this is not a very healthy, especially because if you look at the distillate and the quality of the distillate, and all that, plus there's pesticides in flour too, and nasty stuff like heavy metals. But yeah, distillate is not the one for me. And even like, I mean, live resin's cool. I think that's dope. I think that's better. It's way better, obviously. But in general, I mean, these vape, the way, just because this is a jewel right here, but like, just vaporizers in general, I think it's just so easy to access. There's no like barrier to consuming. So it's maybe not the healthiest thing for certain people. I've seen a lot of people get CHS, actually, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, from carts. So anyway, not to take away from carts, like I said, carts are going to be one of the most consumed products out there. I think they are to this day. I mean, they're at least 20-30% of the market share, I think, of like products. I might have that wrong, but anyway, that's my personal view on it. Not to say don't consume it or not. Just make sure that they're clean and tested. Because it can be some nasty stuff in there. But this leads us to really the problem with the definite problem with the labs. Now, the labs are kind of been a joke for quite some time all around the country. I mean, these testing labs, some of them are good, some of them are okay, some of them are actually good, right? And some of them are trash, and some of them are corrupt, right? And that's just inherently the case, right? And so pretty much what happened here with this LA Times article is it looks like 3 labs were getting frustrated in California. I don't know the labs' names necessarily, but 3 labs that were apparently playing by the rules, whereas everyone else wasn't. Okay. So 3 labs that were playing by the rules, were looking around, they were seeing, oh, well, this lab over here is just taking bribes. This lab over here is taking bribes. This is just, we're trying to play fair, and they're not. So it looks like, and this is what I kind of get the sense of when I was talking to Alex, one of the people that wrote that article, that these labs, had made, him aware, LA Times aware of this problem, right? So yeah. Yeah, I remember SC Labs years ago having a scandal happen. This was years ago, it's not now. I know they're still around. Shout out to SC Labs. I think they're doing a lot better now. But definitely have been some scandals. I mean, there's all different types, whether it's faking THC percentage, faking this, that. I mean, just in general, the whole system is like, it's just not. I'm honestly like this is like one of the few times I think that the government should take over testing. I know that sounds stupid. I'm usually pretty against that, but I think there needs to be much more standardization across the country. I think there needs to be, I don't know. That's just me, but there's been some solutions though to this problem that have been, proposed by people like Elliot from Catalyst, which we're going to go into here in a little bit. But let's go into some stuff. So, yeah, what are you guys thinking, though? What do you guys say in the chat? Stiiizy carts got my homie sick after smoking them. Nasha has the ceramic carts. Okay. Canada does, I believe. Bro, that would be a fire job. No, I agree. Oh, for the government? Yeah. Not cool. Yep, legalize, grow your own. Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Benefits, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there was multiple, like in this report, we saw multiple different times where, I mean, everything was, I mean, it wasn't just pesticides. So there's all different types of pesticides, right? But there was definitely some, there's multiple times where people would say, oh, it's 30% THC, but it was really 15%. It was said it was 15% THC. But anyway, THC doesn't really matter, as most people that are pretty educated know. That's not really a thing. So it doesn't really matter as much, right? But for the the uneducated consumers, that they look to that, right? Obviously. Right. This is a good point. There's a 10% window on testing. It can be labeled 10% higher than the actual testing. Okay. Yes. Which cards got the point? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Alien Labs passed. Yep. So what do you think about the report? So what I think about the report is I think that there's there's blame to be had for sure. I think that there's certain companies that are definitely doing some kind of sneakier stuff for sure. And we'll talk about that here. I think there's certain companies that just had no idea. It's it can be complicated to see who exactly fault it is. I mean, at the end of the day, these labs shouldn't be these labs should be not taking bribes. These labs should be better, but also these producers, right? The people that are producing these the input material for these carts, right? That's where a lot of these pesticides are coming from, right? And anyway, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna do this. Let's jump into, like I said, I got the full documentary coming out pretty soon here. We've been working on it. But let's do this first. Let's go. So if you guys go to highdesign.media, by the way, folks, you guys can go sign up for free. There's a free version and there's also a paid version. And this is my streaming platform, right? Okay, so I need to update some stuff, but I mean, we got a ton of different pieces of content that's only available on this platform. So you're gonna want to trust me. I'm telling you, you're gonna want to check it all out. Where is that? I will say too, guys. We'll actually talk a little bit about this. We'll talk a little bit about this too, but hold up, guys. Okay. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this real soon. This shit's pretty crazy. I was reviewing this last night. This is just kind of a little taste though of the stuff that we have exclusively on this, platform. This is all the JPaid stuff that just, pretty crazy.
I literally watched him maxed out 2 of Machias's.
Like, anyway, that's some different stuff. That's like, it's an hour long. It's messy, but like, yeah. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff, some of the content you can see. There's also like a lot of educational stuff as well. But here, let's go here. So this is the raw. So all the interviews that I do, by the way, they all get put up right away, raw, uncut to this platform. So make sure to go sign up, guys. highdesign.media, www.highdesign.media. Like I said, there's a free version, paid version, up to you. But let's jump into here, though. Let's jump into this interview. So this is Alex Halperin. He is the founder of Weed Week. We had a really great conversation about a number of different things, but mainly this specific article, right? So let's jump into some of it. We're going to skim through some of it.
There's a phenomenal.
Dude, congratulations, bro. Very, very cool to see. So, like, can you give me like an overview, just really quickly, of the piece, and just kind of for the audience and stuff, just to understand?
Sure thing. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. Just to quickly introduce myself, I'm a reporter. I've been writing a newsletter called Weed Week for 9 years now, covering legalization. And so this story came about, and it was co-written with me and the great LA Times reporter Paige St. John, because a couple of years ago, or I guess about a year and a half ago, I published a story. Everybody knows that so much of the market is so much product is sold because it's stronger and because it costs less money. And there's a phenomenon of lab shopping in many states where where brands can essentially choose the lab that is going to give them their.
By the way, for folks that just coming in the chat, this is Alex Halperin, founder of Weed Week. He collaborated with the LA Times and wrote this article. He did the investigation. So just for folks who are aware, we're gonna skim through this, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Though, would love it. Make sure you guys follow us on all the social medias too. Check the links down below. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, guys. Please. All right.
Their official results, and as a result of this, And as a result of this, there's widely acknowledged to be widespread potency inflation on product labels throughout
So this is what we just talked about, right?
many legal market states. And this has provoked legal challenges in several states, litigation. And it's just it hasn't been a particularly good look for, wheat connoisseurs talk about how it's not really about the potency, it's about the terpenes and such. But customers haven't quite caught up with them apparently. And they want the potent weed. So this was pissing off some labs in California because they felt that they were doing honest assessments of potency, and as a result they were losing business to labs that they felt were dishonest. And the problem, and they alerted the DCC about this, and which is the California Department of Cannabis Control, and the DCC didn't do anything. And they also alerted the DCC that they had found some pesticides that are not allowed by the state of California to be in weed. And again, the DCC didn't do anything. So as a result, some lab executives published an article in Cannabis Industry Journal, sort of explaining the issue and that they had found widespread potency inflation, and even some pesticides, and that the DCC hadn't done anything about it, and it was undermining good actors in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And
real quick with that, and I learned through this, this whole article coming out. So the DCC has $35 million that they're supposed to use to enforce stuff like this, correct? I just want to.
I'm not sure of their budget. Actually, is that
something? I think it's something like that. If I was, yeah.
Okay. The DCC does have an enforcement role, but the enforcement role that has been emphasized, that it puts out press releases about, are busting illegal, unlicensed operations. And it's these are pretty big busts. They can be like $50 million, $100 million, but compared to the size of the illegal market, it's not that much.
Okay. Sorry to derail you there. My bad.
Yeah, no problem at all. So I wrote a story in 2022 where I bought some pre-rolls off shelves and got them tested at some labs, and they came back that all 7 of the 7 brands we tested had significant potency inflation. So roughly from about 20% to one blunt that was like 500% potency inflation, which was kind of amazing. It was 8%, and the label said more than 50%. And this story I did led to some litigation. I'm not quite sure where that litigation stands. Actually, I should probably check back on that. But similar things have happened in other states. But the thing, with potency inflation, it's not really, consumers, I guess, are being misled, but it's not a problem, really. It's not gonna
hurting people. Yeah.
To have less THC in their weed than they thought it would. It's not to their product. That's much more important and something. But of course, if dangerous pesticides are getting in to their product, that's much more important and something the public has a right to know about. And so I wanted to test products for these pesticides, and I had been talking to the LA Times about a story, and Paige St. John, who had been covering the weed industry for a while as well, she out of Northern California, and she's been looking at some of the illegal spreads in remote places like Siskiyou County and stuff like that. And she had encountered dangerous pesticides, which were being used in the illegal market by illegal grows, but some of which were finding their way into the licensed supply.
And stick around, folks, because you might have like I said, there's no one on the internet right now that's going to be giving you more information, because not only are we going to be talking about the LA Times article, but we're talking about the aftermath of it. We're going to be talking about the inner workings of a lot of this stuff, the inside baseball. Let's just say that, folks. So stick around. I just need to get through this part for context so people understand, everything. And I'll skip through a little bit of this a little quicker, but trust me, you're gonna want to stick around. It's pretty fucking interesting.
And she wrote a separate story about this, which came out with ours about this particular issue. Some of these pesticides are from China. They're banned in the United States and very dangerous. And even state workers who were dealing with these grows were cautioned not to, that they may have to be careful or get their blood tested and things like that.
Another interesting thing that we see with China, right? China has become the importer of selling either other Chinese nationals that come into the States to grow or to sell to the cartels, the precursors, or just the pesticides, probably the precursors, because some of these pesticides are banned by the, I believe, in most, some of these, I don't know actually the United States, but it's just, it's interesting. I mean, you're starting to see, like I made a post on my Instagram, actually, shout out to the homie, the highest critic. Just check it, by the way, make sure you're following me on Instagram, lmc.media. But, there's some really, it's really interesting what's going on. It looks like right now China has really taken over large swaths of the illicit, Chinese nationals more so. And I, like I said, I've done multiple videos on it. I grew up working with the Chinese triad, literally. I literally had no idea, and I was working with them. And, I saw somebody comment, bring back the platinum or the Bubba. That is another great, a great example of these are the PGR heavy metal, but like someone commented earlier, that's the 90s, 2000s. Now we're getting into there's this exponential amount of new chemicals, new pesticides that are, being created. And we don't really know the effect fully on, humans long term, but it can't be good, right? Then again, everything kind of, a lot of ways, like plastic bottles, right? The microplastics are going to get us anyway. Not to go on a tangent there, but it's interesting, right? So there was another article that was done by the woman at the LA Times who did this, wrote this article with Alex here. And she talked about how, there's a bunch of these pesticides that are being, brought in from China that are really bad. It's like a new era of new generation pesticides, things that are pretty gnarly. Anyway, I'll let him get into that.
Some of the names of these toxins, or these fertilizers or pesticides coming from China off the top of your head? It's okay if not.
I don't want to get them wrong off the top of my head, but okay. I would point you to Paige's story. So I had been talking to the LA Times about a story, and she's on staff at the LA Times, and an editor sort of united us, and we got to talking. And so we did do tests. We did tests of 40 mainly vapes, all of which we bought at licensed stores, and we did the test as blindly as we could at 2 labs to ensure that the results matched. And what we found is a lot to be concerned about. So, but before I go any further, I'll say, so one of the issues with pesticides is that the EPA, because cannabis is federally illegal, the EPA hasn't been addressing the issue of pesticides in cannabis. So as a result, each state has to decide for itself which pesticides and how much of them is safe to be used in cannabis. And that's totally absurd, but there's a lot about cannabis that's absurd. It's the same way that it's absurd that each state has to decide for itself which medical conditions can be allowed for.
Yeah, or like which regulatory system, like metric or this or that, for all they do. That's another real quick too. I just want to like ask this question before we move into the main kind of course of this interview.
Sure.
I just remembered. So I saw that article that I can't remember her name. Sorry, it was what's the reporter's name?
Paige St. John.
Okay, listen here, guys. This is one thing in the interview that I was a little confused about. It was a little. You'll get what I'm saying. This is kind of weird.
Paige St. John, excuse me. So she's talking about China's involvement. Isn't the LA Times owned by a Chinese group? And I'm just curious. Like, and I know that's nothing to do with that. It's like a side. They recently sold that. I'm pretty sure LA Times was bought by a Chinese group, or they sold recently to like their group, which is interesting.
No, the LA Times is owned by a doctor who I believe is of Asian extraction. I'm not sure what country he's from, who made a lot of money. Right. So no, it's not.
No. Okay.
Up to my knowledge.
Okay, this is why I was confused just on this front, and this is kind of a minor thing, but I wanted to do this just so we can fact check ourselves here. So Sun Xiang founded and sold 2 biotech companies together, worth nearly $8 billion, and owns stake in the Los Angeles Lakers. Since taking over the LA Times, he's invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the company. Now, is Patrick Sun Xiang Chinese? Sun Xiang was born in Port Elizabeth, Union of South Africa, modern-day South Africa, to Chinese immigrant parents who fled from China during the Japanese occupation of World War II, Guangdong province. So anyway, so he owns it. His group owns it. So it's not. He is from Chinese descent, but he's not from China. Not to say, like, I'm just kind of curious. There, I just want to make sure we get our facts right here. Let's get back to this.
For some reason, I heard that. Just off the top of my head, I just remembered that randomly, so I just wanted to ask that random question. Besides the point, though, so you got.
So nobody quite knows the dangers of these products in the pesticides, but also getting them on their skin and stuff like that. There's really no research into the effect of those, the dangers of these products. There are people, it's not like the vape crisis of a couple of years ago where people took a hit and then got gravely ill or even died. This is, the concern is more similar to cigarettes, which are widely acknowledged to be incredibly dangerous, but they take a while to.
Shout out to all the living soil growers, by the way. We're actually, some of the home grow content that we're doing right now. We started out in living soil. We're going to continue to do living soil, but yeah, shout out to all the living soil cultivators.
To kill you. But the research isn't done. So while we know quite a bit about what cigarettes do, we don't really know about the problem of inhaling vapes contaminated with these chemicals.
Absolutely. I mean, it's probably going to be a huge problem. Let's be real. I mean, who knows the untold cancers, diseases that are going to be developed over the next 20, 30 years from this potentially. So, I mean, it's obviously a serious issue. I mean, it's kind of like the I mean, we're seeing a lot of like the spray, synthetic terpenes that are being sprayed onto now cannabis, which is really scary. I mean, there's a ton of stuff right now in the cannabis space that it seems like right now it seems like we have, because of the way that legalization was set up and because of just a lot of different reasons, the market site, like because there's, I guess it's because these illegal.
Okay, I see CLTV, shout out to Rob, thinks the tests were rigged. What do you mean tests? Which ones? The ones that were done by the LA Times, or which ones? Confirm for me, if you could, brand new grower.
Legal markets were formed. The capitalism is way farther ahead than the regulations and the agencies that are, because what today, the new up and coming kind of trends and problems in cannabis, the regulatory bodies are like probably 2-3 years behind, if not more. Like they don't even know what we're talking about when we talk about like the synthetic terpenes. Like that's something that we're probably going to talk, and it's good. I'm really glad that this piece came out that you did, because I think it's really pushing them to, I mean, hopefully it pushes them to actually look at this stuff and start to really, understand that, this could be really, really, really.
Where the illegal market is entrenched, where getting things done in California is really hard. And the DC responded to illegal market is entrenched, where getting things done in California is really hard. And the DCC, it doesn't write the laws. It doesn't have that many levers to really shift the dynamics of the market. But
DCC are some clowns, by the way. I'm just going to say that.
The industry is fed up with them nonetheless. The agency is led by Nicole Elliott.
Clown. She's a clown.
They're and let me go a little bit more into some of those issues. So essentially what we found is happening is that basically there's a huge demand for cheap distillate oil right now for vapes. And we found that there are brokers who are arranging the sale of sort of old.
Okay, we're gonna get to this, guys. Make sure to stick around. So Rob from CLTV, Pigeons 420, shout out to them, they're the homies. So they think that the LA Times story is fake. Oh, they're not. It's fake. They're the biggest douchebags. I don't think so. They're not douchebags, but I think for them to say it's fake, like I said, we're gonna answer that here, okay? Because I specifically asked him about all of these things, whether this is a hit job or whether this is, you'll see.
And sort of middle and lower shelf weed to be extracted into distillate, and some of them are willing to buy contaminated weed because it sells because it's a lot cheaper, so their margins will be a lot better, and the farmers are just happy to sell it for anything because it's contaminated. So what's happening is that this biomass is getting squeezed into distillate, which then gets dosed out to various brands, which are ostensibly competing against each other. And then basically they have to send it to labs, samples of the batches to labs to get approval, to get their certificate of analysis that it's safe by California standards and get onto shelves. And the question is whether the labs that are clearing these products or not looking for some products that they don't have to be. So there are different issues. There are products they have to be looking for and products they don't have to do. So with the products they do have to, with the pesticides they do have to look for, chlorfenapyr was one that we found in quite a few doses. And this is a pesticide. Again, I'm not a huge expert on pesticide, but this is a pesticide known to have an incredibly long staying power in physical facilities. So even if it was being used in an illegal grow some time back, and that's been converted into a legal grow, and the legal grow still isn't using it, it lives on in the drywall and in the construction and can still contaminate product. And that's a problem because the DCC doesn't allow any amount of this product in cannabis.
So does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? I want to be very clear, just kind of really get that, make sure that everyone gets that. So there's this product, right? There's, however you make distillate, right? You take a bunch of, trim, a bunch of biomass, right? And that biomass typically, can be grown in certain soil or whatever it may be. That is what gets contaminated initially, right? And then that gets taken, turned into shitty, cheap distillate, right? Hot dog water, as folks call it. And the labs then, they have to get them COAs, right? Certificate of Analysis. And that's where people are thinking, oh, well. So if you get, I'm pretty sure in California, let's say if something pops for getting dirty, like something pops for pesticides, right? That entire crop, I'm pretty sure you have to burn or get rid of. I'm pretty sure. But I just want people to understand, just to clarify. So does that make sense to folks? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if that doesn't make sense or if it does. Or anyway.
And what does that pesticide potentially lead to? I'm assuming carcinogenic.
Jesus Christ, dude. I was in Portland here. Carcinogenic. There we go.
Carcinogen. I'm sorry.
I couldn't even say it this time, bro. At that time, Jesus Christ. Come on, Luke.
To make sure I get it right, I'm gonna quote our story.
Yeah, wow.
So
That's
causing increased death of offspring. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, headache. Okay, so chlorfenapyr is an insecticide that's not permitted on any food products. No amount is allowed in California cannabis. Exposure symptoms include nausea, vomiting, headache, difficulty breathing, wheezing, chest tightness, and short-term memory loss. Combustion releases hydrogen, cyanide, and other toxic gases. In rats, it concentrated in breast milk, causing increased death of offspring.
That's not good.
No,
not good
not
at all.
good.
Yeah, wow.
So
that's just one of many, right? I mean, there's many other ones.
And that's one of dozens of chemicals we found. So the question is, so all of the manufacturers that we spoke to, whose products we found, they all blame the labs, saying like the labs are getting it wrong. We're paying the labs, but there's a certain irony, or they are choosing which labs to use, and there's a question of whether they were choosing the labs because they knew that the labs would pass them, or not, because the results that we found were strikingly different from the results on the official California Certificate of Analysis. And sorry, please continue.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
So the question is, I mean, there are a lot of questions, but how do you deal with this? And I mean,
I mean, it seems like for a while now, I mean, the testing programs around the country in every single state is kind of a joke. I mean, there's no, like, I would say one of the few things that I think that should, because, you know, our different states, our different markets are it's like the laboratories of democracy, as they call it, right? The trying out different systems. I would say, though, like, one of the few systems that I think should be across the board pretty, you know, regulated it, like, hope, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe on a federal level. I mean, I think so. Honestly, have these standard, you know, regulations of, you know, standardizing the testing, and having, you know, like almost having it be government run, to be honest. I'm usually not for that, but I'm almost like, anyway, I know that's probably not possible. Probably, you know, it's much more complex than just a, you know, because
Right.
it's a state, you know, it's state by state, obviously, as the systems we're doing right now. But I mean, there's been countless scandal after scandal after scandal of different labs getting caught up. I mean, I believe SC Labs was one back in the day, right, for California. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I mean, I will say that they were one of the labs that.
Yeah, I believe, probably. I mean, SC Labs got caught, and it's just like, I mean, what happens? I mean, I work in, you know, I'm the owner of different cannabis companies, and, like, you know, I will tell you, like, it is true. I mean, once somebody gets a good, I mean, we don't do this with the companies I'm involved with, but I've seen it, is once somebody gets a good, you know, percentage of THC percentage, they can use that up to, like, you know, 3-4 years later for different batches. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. And so, I mean, there's obviously a massive problem with the testing labs. But it's really like you said, I mean, the producers, right, are saying it's the lab's fault. The lab, what are the labs kind of saying?
Well, the labs have said that they have suggested, though not on the record, that some of the producers were swapping out product, and giving them one product and putting something else on shelves. And in fact, a company, West Coast Cure.
And then this is where we get into the West Coast Cure stuff, guys, which is definitely interesting. And I've talked to Jake Cures a little bit in the past. I've never really talked. I don't know him that well. I got his number, but, you know, they responded pretty well to this, honestly. But we'll get to that. I just want to, you know, like I said, bear with me, guys. Trust me, it's going to get real interesting. So make sure to stick around.
Which came up as having some dirty vapes, was actually just fined by the DCC for a good amount of money, for $3.2 million for here, I will read the exact charge in the article to make sure I get it right. Proving the selection, saying it failed to guard against Cure products, but did. So the Department of Cannabis Control issued no public recalls of West Coast Cure products, but did conduct a surprise inspection at its Long Beach facility. In May, the agency levied a $3.2 million fine against Wasserman's company, saying it failed to guard against product tampering, including storing goods in the parking lot and shipping containers that had no security cameras. It was also cited for failing to provide legally required video proving the selection of product samples for lab testing was not rigged. And the company did not respond to questions about that citation.
Well, there's some questions there for sure. So,
guys, like I said, by the way, make sure you guys, if you guys want to catch interviews like this, you guys got to go sign up for the High Design platform, the streaming platform, www.highdesign.media. We got tons of interviews that are only available here, tons of pieces of content that are only available here. A lot of the spicy stuff only available on this platform.
Oh,
and
also, there is an iOS app for it as well. So if you look up on your phone in the App Store HDXLMC, it'll pop up so you can watch all of this on your phone on the go.
Then a guy, one of the guys who is involved in the company, Jarrett Wasserman, has responded to us on his private Instagram account, Jake Cures. So you're welcome to check that out as well.
They didn't respond to, like, where's the chain of custody?
What is it? Which one is it? Is it?
Yeah, it's the most recent one.
Okay.
I'm over here at my grandma and grandpa's house celebrating Father's Day with my dad, from Pot Brothers at Law. And also, I wanted to address the article that came out on Friday from the LA Times. But when I went to address it, conveniently, my account was taken down. I'm pretty sure we're being attacked, probably by the same people who are putting out the articles. Who knows? But if they expect me...
That's convenient. No. Shout out to Jake Cures, by the way. Shout out to West Coast Cures.
To believe their reports when we've asked simple questions that they didn't respond to, like, where's the chain of custody? Like, and they can't give us one, which we have for all of our products. And I want you guys to know, at West Coast Cure, we stand behind all of our products and all of the people we work with. We would never do such a thing. Anyone that knows me know how much I care about the plant, how much I care about people, how generous I am. And yeah, I would just...
They wouldn't even show us the COAs. A murder defendant gets to see the evidence against them. Hatchet job, fake news.
Yeah, Dad. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Bottom line is, everyone, all of our products on shelves are clean and have passing results from state licensed labs. Plus, me and my team at West Coast Cure go over and beyond. We do R&D on top of compliance, which isn't even required of us. Now, I heard Elliot from Catalyst is planning on doing his own testing, and I totally encourage it, because unlike LA Times and the three labs that are coming after us, right? He doesn't have any ulterior motives. His only motive is to make sure that patients and people are getting clean medicine. And I know that he's going to throw a fair trial, and he's going to have chain of custody and make sure our stuff hasn't been tampered with.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. We're going to talk about Elliot. We're going to talk about his whole program real soon here. But I just want to, like I said, I'm nothing, I don't know if anybody's watching right now from West Coast Cure. I think you guys did a great response. Not this response, but I think you guys went into overdrive. I think I put out a little trailer for the documentary coming up, and I think that mixed with a couple other things, I think you guys kicked into overdrive and really did a good response. So I want to make sure that I don't want to wait a little bit and go to something else and then come back and show their response. So I want to go straight to that. But actually, we'll watch this for a little bit more. And like I said, this is going to get spicy. It's going to get complicated. It's going to get very political. Not even this part, but later down the line. So yeah, stick around.
So I'm for it. And also, me and my team have decided to invite a few people, bud tenders, consumers, and we want you guys to come and check us out, because we want to be transparent and show you guys we're an open book, and you guys can experience our procedures, see how the labs pick products when they come. And yeah, man, bottom line is, everyone.
So that's what he did. That's what they did, right? I'll go back. I want to show this first, and then I'll go back to me. And then this is where I start to get into talking to Alex about, I start to ask him harder questions, being like, what's your response to these allegations, all these things. So this is the one I just showed, is this video right here. But they went into overdrive mode pretty quickly, and
Jake Cures, and we're live here at our facility in Long Beach, and I've invited some people that I got straight off of my comments from my post.
I go by SoCal Saltness on Instagram.
I wanted to see what's going on here at the facility, because Jake Cures put out the video and he said, he has nothing to hide.
And I hope to see the quality that comes from this lab.
Just here to find out how everything works with the process, and I'm excited that he opened his doors to us.
We're about to go show them how we do testing with our state-approved lab, and we're going to show them how we do compliance and R&D. Let's go.
So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to pull from the batches that have been brought forward to us. From there on out, it's going to be a strictly lab-only process. So everything going on is heavily controlled by paperwork.
So this is called quarantine, guys, right? See how it's locked up in there?
It's supposed to be recorded. The state has access to this footage right here, and we want to give them the opportunity to verify that what I'm pulling here in real time is actually going to be real.
What's up, everybody?
So smart move in my opinion, just savvy move.
We use random number generation to determine which samples we're going to be pulling and from which parts of the batch. That's a shot right there from regulations. You can see that it's indicated.
This is smart from a PR standpoint, I would say. Let's look at some of these comments. Not hating, but it's been known that all the lab testing you pay to play, you pay to make the numbers you want. That's facts. Yeah. Okay. So why did they pop dirty according to the LA Times? Right. You have to be okay. Okay.
How many different units you need to grab for a batch.
Shout out to the homie, by the way. Weed reviews.
What size?
That dude does some great reviews, and yeah.
And from there, everything's going to be dropped into its controlled envelope, a sterile kind of bag. It's going to get sealed, and it will stay in that condition until it ends up in the intake department of the laboratory.
Now we just have to wait for the results, and we'll go from there.
We use random number generation.
Okay, well, here we go. Here they are. Okay, let's go over here to the. Okay, let's go to these comments. Okay, so why did they pop dirty according to the LA Times? Not sure. They haven't shown me 1 ounce of proof. No pun intended. Possibly a fake. I will say one thing that actually definitely weakens 100% is that they. I mean, I would like to see the proof, right? I don't know if Jake here is just saying that to say like, you know, as a PR move, but I mean, like I need to hit up Alex and maybe see if there's actually like the proof of that, but. That's something that I definitely would like to see, honestly, because without that, actually, that's a huge component to it. I mean, we definitely want to see the proof. I'm sure, like I said, I'm going to get into the part about if I trust Alex or not right here in a sec, but I just want to go over this first, and then we'll get to that. So Robert Bean says, possibly a fake. West Coast Cure has proven day in, day out that they are the best. Jake here, stop being a clown. They passed because you had the lab exclude testing on the pesticide. Stop being such about all those and passing Cali standard, and you want to level of quality and surpass that standard. Go pesticide free. This whole song and dance is disgusting. It's the only reason I won't fuck with y'all anymore. The theatrics have been crazy. Okay. Seriously, this just okay. Be advised, manufacturers, distributors do not get choosing what is tested for at the DCC state mandated labs. They must use for licensed products. And then Profit 626 says, yes, they have. You're the one who hasn't provided an actual result. Those are paid actors, bro. Knock it off. They're not paid actors. No, they're not paid actors. Right. You have to be a fucking to not see that shit, smoke and mirrors and money. Crazy. I was just reading an article about how they wanted to test the vibes. Okay. Somebody says this legit proves nothing. LMAO. I'm showing 100% more proof than the LA Times. They didn't even post each test with batch numbers and proof of chain of custody like I have to prove what they are testing and where it comes from. I asked, they won't show any. He goes, I get it, my boy, but we all know the people test a few samples and attach that COA to all products sold under that name. See, that's kind of what I was talking about, right? I'm not a hater, G. I know you're an OG in the industry. The entire industry is just a shit show right now. Let's be honest about that. I feel for y'all, to be completely honest, but glad I got okay. Somebody says LA Times probably bought fake West Coast Cure carts and then tested them. Somebody says, for real, that's probably a true fact. LA Times is smoking fake West Coast Cure carts. West Coast Cure is one of the longest running players in the legal game. Anyone thinking y'all aren't doing things the right way is digging for negativity. Truth reigns. Okay. So definitely interesting. Let's see if they did anything else. I think.
Dash and Dash, Los Angeles. It was supposed to be.
Okay, I want to get claimed here, but smart move, smart PR moves, I would say, honestly. I mean, if you guys want the real, I'll tell you here in a sec what I think. But okay, we just got 220 people now in the total viewing party. How many we got on? Got 150 people on X, dude. Let's go. No one on Facebook. No one. Okay, so we got Okay. Now,
are clean and have passing results from state licensed labs plus.
I mean, this really, but I don't think that I independent media, but I don't. Good time to ask. I personally, and I think especially you're independent media, right? I mean, you teamed up with a bigger outlet that's going to be able to amplify your voice, which I completely understand. Because there is more, this hit. I mean, this really. I mean, people have been talking about this, but it is really, this was the thing that really made it hit, and it's now, we're talking about it now here, right? We're doing the interview. I would say though too, like what is your response to like people saying, this is a paid hatchet job, or this was influenced by those 3 labs, let's say, for example. I guess what's the response to that, if you know what I mean?
Well, I think I guess what I would say at the beginning is this. We live in a time of great distrust, distrust of existing institutions, and one of the institutions that has lost the greatest amount of trust in American life is the media, and that's for a wide variety of reasons. One is that it's an easy scapegoat for just about anybody, to blame the media when you don't like the media's message. Another reason is that the media, and especially what I would call the high quality journalism media, has been in a business crisis for the last 30 years, since the rise of the internet. And this has led to a decline in quality at many institutions. Certainly, journalism, which is never an easy profession, there are huge numbers of journalist layoffs, and about 20 to 25% of Americans live in places where there's effectively no local news, and local news is really sort of the foundation of the media, I think.
You mean local newspapers where there's like journalists that are almost like muckrakers, right? There's not really that.
Well, I mean, now the muckrakers tend to work for a very small number of publications that that tend to be a lot larger and tend to have been able to weather the storm a little better. Although it's no secret that the LA Times has had its recent struggles. It is a lot of outlets have been bought by billionaires, and billionaires buy news outlets for various reasons. Business operations is pretty unfamiliar to a lot of. They're losing money. The most successful general interest newspaper, familiar to a lot of billionaires, and billionaire-owned publications have suffered. That includes.
And this gets into the distrust of the media, which I'm excited to talk about here briefly. Let's go to that.
Includes the Washington Post, which is owned by one of the world's richest men. They're losing money. The most successful general interest newspaper in the world, in the country.
See, folks, when this article first came out, I just want to actually speak here. When this article first came out, I honestly was instant reaction. I'm like, I don't fuck with it. Like, I just don't fuck with it in general, because like, just hear me out, guys. that was my instant reaction, because anything I see pretty much from mainstream media, and I consider LA Times mainstream media, I'm so distrustful, because folks, this is what it is. The biggest liars in our world is the government, number one. Number two is corporate media, right? Mainstream media that helps peddle the propaganda of the government, the lies of the government. Number three is, corporations, whatever. And then a distant fourth is independent news people like myself, who honestly, in my opinion, get it right more times than not compared to these. Because think about it. I mean, these are corporate controlled entities. Billionaires own these institutions of journalism, right? And so I personally, I despise. I mean, I just, like, whatever you want to say. Like, I'm not a big fan of the left or the right, really, either one. But one thing I will say is that, like, 2016 when Trump ran, it did open my eyes. And I'm not a Trump supporter by any means, and I'm not. I'm really, I grew up far left, but I've despised both parties now. I despise because it's all a uniparty. I don't want to go down that whole rabbit hole, but I mean, I didn't really realize until YouTube, really, but like until independent media came in. But like, I mean, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, I mean, it's all horseshit. It's all, I mean, it's just lies. It's propaganda. It's like, how do we get into the next war? How do we get into, force people to do something that they don't want to do? How do we coerce the public into, this or that? It's pure and simple. I mean, I now that I've spent about 4 or 5 years doing media, right, and I'm self-taught, never really thought I'd be doing this. I've started to learn, though. I mean, it's all about narrative control. It's all about, I mean, it's a nasty business, bro, is the mainstream media. I mean, they're really hacks, bro. They really are hacks. Now, like I said, this is not to take away from some of the good parts, though, of it. So anyway, let's keep going with this.
Certainly is the New York Times, and they had the resources and the foresight to reinvent themselves in a lot of ways that other outlets haven't been able to do. And so what has filled the gap is, and there are a lot of sort of new upstart newsrooms that are trying to tell the stories of their communities and do an honest job. And there are a lot of there's a lot of nonsense out there that tells lies and distortions, and often they attack credible news outlets. So, and in the weed world, there's a lot of, and certainly in your audience, there's a lot of basis for distrust, not just of the media, but of government, because these institutions have been telling a lot of lies about the plant for some of them anyway. And
well, they've been stewards of government as well, right? This is the big. I mean, the problem is like the New York Times. I mean, they've helped. Let's be real. They've always been for every single war that's been pitched by the government. Let's be real. I mean, that's a fact, right? I mean, CNN. I mean, they're clowns, right? Fox News, clowns. Both sides are clowns. Like both, but they're both. It's all the illusion of choice, right? And I really think it's funny, I like, as much as, you can think whatever you want to think about Trump, right? The fact is, we just watched that video with Jarrett, right? And his dad, or his dad, or his uncle, I think that's the uncle or his dad, who's a lawyer himself, right? He used the term fake news, right? Which is obviously a product of Donald Trump. So I think it comes from, I mean, that's a big reason why I think Donald Trump got elected. I mean, there's obviously been, I mean, yeah, like you said, a ton of distrust in media, because a lot of media has been to control the masses, right? I mean, let's be real. That's what, and that's why I think the more decentralized system, of independent journalism, people like, journalists that are almost their own entity, right? Like yourself, almost, right? Like you're your own entity with your own.
And so just to kind of take take back up what I was just saying earlier. You know, when I first saw this article, my instant reaction was like, okay, this is mainstream media. Fuck them. This is, I don't know. I'm not with it. And then, you know, I saw Alex that was part of it. And Alex, you know, he is genuinely, like, in my opinion, you know, there's people out there that don't like him, and you know, there's reason for that, but you know, he's a good reporter. He's like one of the very few, right? I mean, he really is. Like he came from traditional, like in terms of like someone that I've like looked up to and like has like kind of, you know, been, you know, taught, you know, mentored me a little bit here and there, kind of, you know, in terms of like, you know, I don't call myself a full-on journalist, right? I do journalistic stuff for sure, but I'm more of a storyteller, you know. I'm a combination of the two, really. But you know, in terms of my like journalism, like integrity, like Alex is like that person, really, you know. And you know, like I said, so that's the only reason why I really like gave this a chance, and I wanted to sit down with Alex. I've known Alex, right? We've talked before, and I mean, he's a good reporter. Now, like I said, should he have shown some more proof? I think, just to answer, you know, what, you know, the homie at West Coast Cure was saying. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. We're going to talk about that here in a sec, but yeah, I got to say that. But the only reason why I really gave this a chance, honestly, is because it was independent media, aka Alex and Weed Week, right? Because he has his own entity, right? And I'm just really pro independent media in general. When I talk about, I can't stand. I mean, it's like, bro, you got to think about this. We are playing on different like battle, like to be honest, it's dope that, you know, Alex got, you know, to, you know, get his voice, you know, utilized, you know, amplified by Los Angeles Times, you know. But in general, like even on like the YouTube algorithm, on the almost everything, mainstream media has the upper hand compared to us independent people, right? Yet we still are doing pretty damn well for, you know, someone. I originally started all of this. Literally, I trapped my whole life, lost a fuck ton of money, had nothing, lived in my parents' basement, and I started this media shit there. And here we are now. I'm, you know, in my own crib now, and you know, doing it right. But that's the thing. If the incentive structures are off, right? If someone is bought and paid for, you know, that's the problem, right? Anyway, let's jump back into this
publication, or Weed Week, right? Which I think is dope. And it's more, there's more autonomy, I feel like. And I think that's a good thing. It's decentralized. Now, that's not to say, though, there are, you know, I think it's better always to have, you know, the fact is our mainstream media is controlled by 6 companies in the world, right? I mean, that's underlying. I remember doing a whole report on it back in like my freshman year of high school. Like this has been known. So, you know, it's good that we're starting to now break. The internet's allowed for, you know, everyone to have a voice, you know, but it's definitely something that, you know, allows for just as, you know, just because, you know, just as much as it's dope that it gives everyone a voice, there's way more outlets. There's also more outlets to potentially control and to manipulate and to distort. And so, I mean, now at this point, it's becoming an information war, not to take away from, you know, Alex Jones' InfoWars name, but it's true. I mean, it's an information narrative control war. And I think, though, it is important for people, you know, trust is the number one thing with your audience, obviously. And
okay, so like I said, this full interview, super interesting. We're gonna have more of this in the full-on documentary. That's great point. Exactly. You've seen those creepy videos of just all. I mean, that's how you control it. All advertisers. So, and one thing I'll say is, like, for example, you know, here.
When you talk about the media, you're talking about one thing. But most individual journalists are something. I don't mean people working alone. I mean journalists, people are earnest and conscientious people who want to tell stories, get things right, and care a great deal about getting things right and being fair. And I try to do that. I can certainly say that Paige, who has been an advocate for consumers and for good governance in her work, it's really a profession that is a calling in a lot of ways. And the way that these incredibly most journalists who are very dedicated, that we've all lived in, has made it very hard, has, I think, sort of disguised the honesty and the decency and the hard work of a lot of the journalists involved. And this is something, look, do journalists deserve their share of the blame for certain things? Absolutely. But for the most part, this is not a crisis in confidence brought on by the work of journalists, but it is now our job to regain the confidence of the public. And I think one of the ways we do that, one of the ways I've tried to do that from my newsletter is.
I disagree with that, honestly. Like, it is 100% journalists' faults, 100%. I mean, it's not 100% their fault. I'm sorry. It is absolutely, but I get it. They're put in positions where it's like, okay, this is your job. This is how you pay your rent. This is how you feed your family. And then there's, and that's the problem. That's the problem with not being independent media. And, anyway.
Is to be fair.
Because I completely disagree with his premise of, these journalists 100%. I mean, if they really were, they should leave. They should stand up for what's right. There's multiple journalists out there that stood up for what's right and lost their job, right? Example. Multiple different people at MSNBC that stood up to, against the Iraq war that got fired, multiple people. And so, I know it's different for everyone, but like, let's be real. The problem with these journalists is that they work for someone, an editor above them that has editorial control. And that's just a fact, right? So like, that's why I like independent media where the person, has control, over their own, they have to be an entrepreneur to a certain degree, right? They have to build their audience, right? But once you do that, you're only answering to your audience, not the person that's the editor, the editor, and then that editor has to then answer to the billionaire that owns the owns the newspaper, whatever it may be. I don't know.
To be hardworking, to tell stories that matter, and it's.
I will say though, the thing about
that time like Paige.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I know.
And folks, make sure to stick around because we're going to get into all the politics. This is going to get, trust me, we're honestly like halfway through. So
absolutely. And I think, it's some great work that she did, that you guys did. And, I will say though, the thing about, and like, not to get too broad here, I just want to say on this point is the thing about being employed, right, is that there's editorial control, right? I mean, there is absolutely the power for certain, special interests that have, let's say own, are invested or whatever, like Jeff Bezos, right, with the Washington Post. I mean, there's inherently certain stories that he could, if he wanted to, cut off from going out, right? So, in my opinion, one of the few cannabis journalists really, out.
Okay. Anyway, in this art, and you guys, like I said, make sure to go watch this full interview. It's raw, uncut. There's nothing edited out of this. This is what we do. We upload these interviews to this platform. It's www.highdesign.media. It's a great way to help get access to the stuff. Like, I specifically have to pay. Instead of me just getting a Patreon, right? I wanted to use this service so I couldn't get censored. Because we upload our own, it's not like you're using YouTube, because you can lose your YouTube channel. And I don't know if Patreon does that now, but I specifically, utilize a service where I'm paying like $600 a month, to be able to have an app, to be able to, self-host these videos so that it can't get suppressed. So like I said, best way to support guys is to, sign up sign up for free, sign up for the paid version, up to you, whatever you can afford. But like I said, watch the full interview. It's going to be dope. Also, like I said, the documentary is going to be coming out next couple days. So keep your guys' eyes peeled with this. But like right here, we're going real inside baseball here. And like, you know, this full stream probably won't be around. You know, I'll probably take this down just because there's so much. There's a lot of sauce here that we're going to start to come up on here. But like I said, definitely go sign up. There's a free version. Like I said, we're gonna talk about this NLB stuff.
Bruh's the biggest hustler. You over here trying to put like 4 to 8 points on your own people.
This shit's crazy.
I went down there, like cool ass energy. Talk to the right. Dojo was the one getting. Okay, so you did the trademark, right? But I paid. Don't do business with paid. Yeah, let's go ahead and pin that, Stunner. But the day, I don't know if it was because I kept it real about the Stunner situation. I went to him. I'm like, bro, you fucked up, bro.
Anyway, sorry, I got sucked into that. That's a whole fucking other mess. Okay, anyway, sorry. That's a whole nother mess. Like I said, though, guys, tons of different pieces of content you're not going to want to miss. By the way, this is another one. This one I actually had to take down from YouTube. Shout out to Champelli. This is one of the reasons why I got this service, so I can't get you know, I'm not vulnerable to getting suppressed like I have in the past. You know, this one's dope, by the way. If you guys haven't seen this is the cannabis strain immortalized in hip hop.
I went to a high school located.
It's dope. It's all about Mac Dre.
How many times friends or maybe at a party, and this Mac Dre song would come on, and the lyrics would go, "She only sees me with European keys. She only sees me with wood grain sprees. She only sees me with Champelli trees. She only sees me having hella G's." I really can't tell you how many times I have sang that chorus, and like countless times. And there's always been this one line in the chorus that's always stuck out to me and that I've remembered. And that is, "She only sees me with Champelli trees." And I never really got what it meant until.
Go watch that one, guys. I love that. That's one of my, it's you know, personal is one of my personal favorites. Okay, let's go over here real quick. I want to talk about this. I saw a little bit of Yola's, you know, shout out to Dobas Yola, shout out to Marty, do great work. I saw some, you know, them talk about the article, and I kind of wanted to go over it real quick.
Talking to the owner, hands you. Did you know? Did you know? I'll never know that. But what I'm saying is that the pesticide that they're showing up for is not the one that counts toward the testing of California. Yeah. So they're still legal. So, but a lot of people are going, but how can you do that? I already know people are like, how can you? I'm doing a video for Stiiizy today. We're doing.
Oh, and something I didn't talk about with Stiiizy is they're utilizing a pesticide that isn't actually on the list in California's testing. That is still definitely bad for you, not good for you, right? But it's technically legal, right? So that's another huge problem with this overall situation.
Doing a video today, and this comes out this morning, and I'm like, oh man, I hope it's not the weed, because I'm smoking their weed today, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it is passing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, as long as it passes what you're smoking, it's fine. No, if it was my cards, I'd be like, yo, that just came up with pet. I ain't smoking that. I don't care if we're doing a video. I ain't doing that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, some people are gonna go, damn, bro, just because you had to do a video, cancel that video. Why would I cancel the video? It's not the weed they're talking about. The weed's a weed. They're talking about a cart and one cart. There was a West Coast Cure. There's a Backpack Boys in there. It said like 36 of 38 products of one of the other companies didn't pass.
That's tough.
That's a lot, dude. Yeah. And I'm not trying to sit here and like, Stiiizy's better because they only had one pen. No, I'm just talking about the article. You can go read the article right now. But I work with them, so I wanted to be completely transparent. Go, I don't know. How would I know? And then you go in, find out. Because when you think past, California regulations are this high. What if they were right here? More companies like, we failed.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. It's so expensive. And Claudio and John told me about it. Like, yo, you know how much money we're gonna be spending on every test? Like, bro, I don't care. Because it's like $400 for every test. And sometimes we'll do like 7 for one thing.
Damn.
Most companies, you know, HSC, you only have to pass one. One blank. They made $100 million this year, right? And you're like, damn, they're balling. They better give away weed.
Your child needs these 3.
What do you got? What do you got thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Yola saying that? I'm curious.
Yourself, you went, we got 2. Can we get rid of them? What? I don't want pesticides in my. That's what you're supposed to think.
Yeah.
But most companies are like, we're up to code. We're tanking. Can we just make our money back? You have to. That's what a lot of companies are thinking. I'm assuming. I would just redo it, but I get it. People lose a lot of money. This is what's going on. This is exactly what's happening, and I understand. As an old drug dealer, if I got a pack full of a bunch of mold, I personally am not going to sell it. I can't morally go, here's that pack of mold. Take it.
I feel like it's a step. It's more, to me, what it was saying was more like in the growing process, they're making their life or cutting corners.
I'm getting to that. I'm just talking about like the moral of it.
Yeah.
It's
of course.
I would bring the packs back to my homie all the time. Like, yo, there's mold in this. I'm not selling this to anybody. Because what are you ready? Have you been to the Getty Museum? Worse than anyone ever has in history, but won't throw a punch. Pre-internet would be like, yo, I'll be ready.
Watch the documentary.
It's very ruthless.
Okay, this is the part I was trying to find.
Of course they are.
Okay, this is the part I was trying to find.
It's everything. So like,
is there anything like it's like, who do you trust then? It's like, damn, you really got to dial in with somebody with a brand that like, you know, I don't know. Like,
also, what about the lab?
Yeah.
What was it? Seabright? I think it was Seabright Labs.
Do they have an obligation to let you know?
No. They got caught passing dirty shit for money.
Oh, okay.
They got caught taking money to put pass on big companies' orders.
Damn.
So who's to say if they're willing to take money to poison people willingly and knowingly, make possibly people sick? Who's to say that I'm Weed 101? All right, I've been doing my shit. I give you my lab stuff. I'm trying my best. Villain weed company over here goes, hey, how much would you take to fail their test? Why wouldn't they take that money?
Yeah.
They're already taking money to poison people. Why don't I take money to fuck your company up? Might have to bleep that too. Damn, I'm trying my best. It's the first time I think I cussed like the whole episode so far. Of course they are. Now, Weed 101's like, we didn't pass. We have, you know, when you don't pass, if you have 500 pounds and you go process it and you go get it tested, did you know by law, if it doesn't pass that little batch, you have to dump the entire grow?
Ugh.
Did you know that? These companies out here are struggling, dude. And it could have been from a little vendetta they had against that company, and or somebody's like, yo, I'll give you 10 bands, just don't pass them. Why? Because then they're going to be a month behind and we're trying to take their market. It's a cutthroat bit. It's business now. Fools are, not everybody in the weed business is a good person. And it is what it is, man.
I would agree. It's cutthroat as fuck. I mean, like there are definitely people that are willing to do shady things like that. I personally I'm one of, belief that I think they really don't do that kind of shit. It's, first of all, long term, it's not going to be beneficial to you. In my opinion, I think long term, the best thing to do is to focus on yourself. Let the haters hate, but focus on yourself. Don't put energy trying to bring someone else down. It's a waste of time. It's bad. It's stupid. Worry about yourself, because long term, that's like what you're gonna be better off for it. Putting time into bringing someone else down, just a waste of fucking time. Literally, waste of time.
Weed company is now treated like the alcohol and tobacco companies. It's very ruthless. All right. So weed 101. I hope you survive.
Mm.
That's it. Or, I mean, you can almost make no money. The taxes are like 60 or 40 something percent. Weed companies are making very little money of that big number you see in the papers. Make that 300 mil. They didn't take home 300 mil, bro. Not even close. So you got to think of that. Over time, they're going to not be able to make it. And what happens? The government's going to come in and go, we'll save you. Still be the face. You still grow, but we own you now. No, you only use this nutrient now. And that's when people start getting sick off weed. And then people start saying, weed's not the cure anymore. Oh, wow. No, weed's not the cure. It's the chemicals they're putting into it that's making it bad. Guarantee you go to your homies that grows weed down.
Okay. So interesting stuff. Shout out to Dope Aziola. Well, let's go over to Catalyst TV. Make sure to go subscribe. Okay, so this was interesting, right? So
Right now, and then
All right, we're about to release the results. I don't know how to go live.
invite to join.
Hold on, here we go. No. Oh, here we go. We got Nate here. All right. Here we go. We're live. Are we on? We're live, right? We got it figured out. All right. So we're live on Instagram. Obviously, whoever's not on, we'll see you later. But we ran all these tests, being fully transparent. I wanted to bring on the man who ran the tests that are sitting on my desk that will be announced shortly, and get the detail from him so I don't butcher this. But Nate from Bel Costa, tell us what you did, how we did the test, the authenticity of the test, and all that good stuff.
Hey, Elliot, how you doing, brother? And yeah, that's happy to help fill in the gaps right there. Hey, everybody. Real quick, let's just kind of cover what we're looking at here. This wasn't the full panel. We're just looking at pesticides. Now, when we run pesticide tests, there are a couple of things that we're going to be focusing on. We're looking at two different groups, chlorinated and non-chlorinated. We're looking at two different instruments that we need to run those different groups of pesticides, and we ran that full. So anything that's on the California panel that especially has been brought to light recently with regards to that recent LA Times article and all of that fun stuff, all of that stuff was run. So everything had been dropped off. We brought it into the lab, photograph.
Wait a minute. Sorry. Okay, sorry. This is what I should have shown first.
Catalyst is going to start testing our own shelf randomly. Yes, we are going to spend the money to make sure that everything that we're carrying is clean and test free of fucking pesticides and other contaminants. And we are going to give it to trusted labs to make sure that is the case. And if you pop fucking dirty, you're banned. That's it. I don't give a fuck who you are, right? And at the end of the day, look, this is hopefully a teachable moment for everybody, but we can't be selling fucking dirty product. Now, to be clear, we've never had anything test dirty on our shelf, never had a recall batch that was on our shelf. We have no knowledge of anything that ever tested dirty on our shelf. That's it. We need to make sure, if we're all about the customer and we're trying to do the right thing, that what we carry is safe. So look, this is a fucking message to every single brand out there. I don't give a fuck what new SOP you need to do to make sure that you hit our shelf clean. But at the end of the day, we're going to do our own fucking testing, because we know the DCC, despite the $135 million in licensing fees, is trash and is not going to clean this shit up. And I can only speak for Catalyst, but our motherfucking shelf is going to be clean, and we're going to enforce ourselves. And although we're short on resources, we're going to use resources to make sure that everything we fucking carry is clean. I hope the rest of the industry follows suit. Again, only the private sector ever solved the fucking problem in this industry. That aside, it's super important to me when we put the fucking Catalyst name on it, that the consumers can come in and know that it's safe and clean product, and the brands better fucking get it together. Again, the past is the past. I'm not going to guess the chain of custody and relitigate all that. Everybody gets one fucking mulligan. But here forward, we will be fucking testing. And if you pop dirty, we're going to fucking ban you. And if you pop super dirty, you're fucking banned for life, and we're going to fucking blast you. That's it, man. We're all about the customer. We're here to protect them. That's our fucking duty. Our fucking name's on it. That's the SOP going forward. All brands, you're all put on notice. We ain't trying to fucking over police the industry, but come on, bro. Bring your product in clean. And by the way, I don't give a fuck about THC. That's a victimless crime, and it's fucking white fucking lie, and everybody's fucking doing it. I'm talking about testing fucking dirty. It will not happen on a catalyst shelf. Weed for the people.
Okay, so now that you have that context, so that, and then, okay, and so,
But we got the
pretty much to go through this.
Here's the test here. I'm gonna hold it up just so you can see it's a legit test. Off the press, who knows? They chose us, but guess what? We're testing our own shelf. So this is plug play. Here's the test here. I'm gonna hold it up just so you can see it's a legit test. They ran below the acceptable levels, but plug play. Happy to fucking go live because whatever.
Has to say best samples.
Their test is West Coast Cure pass.
Also pass. Connected
Alien
worked with Connected Alien Lab, worked with them forever. They have so many levels of testing to make sure that their product is safe. It's uncanny. I can't speak highly enough as to.
Okay, so West Coast Cure, I think they're doing everything right now. I think they're crushing it in terms of doing everything right. I do think, though, the fact is you got fined $3.2 million. I mean, like I said, let me get that, like I said, I think that over the last couple of years, everyone's starting to get their shit more in order. Hopefully that happens. West Coast Cure, I think is doing that now. In this year, you can see that, they tested clean.
To those groups.
The Backpack Boys, everyone, almost everyone tested clean, I believe, on this. Now, like I said, whatever you want to say about, Elliot, for the most part, I mean, he's an incentive, right? He's worrying about the customer. So the fact is he's had to now take this into his own hands to a certain degree, which is pretty crazy, but that's what it is. Right? Now, let's go back here. So this is what I want to show you. So I think at first, if Ellie was to continue to do like the system where he just did in that video where, he has Bella Costa, like the person Bella Costa lab just come and like read off, oh, tested clean. And there's no like checking on it. There's no like third party checks, checks and balances on it. Then I personally think that wouldn't be a very transparent system. Right. But when I heard this new system that he wants to implement, I actually was like, this actually could work because it checks everyone. So let's watch this here.
Yo, want to announce a groundbreaking SOP that Catalyst is going to put in place to make sure the industry is clean and that the bad actors are weeded out. Look, what we did today, shout out to all the brands. They tested clean. It's reactionary. We did it as fast as we can. The SOP is going to be this. Man, I had a great conversation with SC Labs, been talking to all the fucking labs, right? All the well-reputable labs. What we're going to do is blind testing. When product comes in, before it gets to the shelf, we're going to continue to test the shelf. But look, that's reactionary. And just so people have confidence in it, we're going to move it around, right? But when product comes in, we're going to select product for testing to 4 different labs. And none of those labs will know the results of the other labs. And therefore, if there's conflicting results, we're going to figure out why there's conflicting results. And if the lab that sent it in is sending in dirty material and saying it's clean, and all 4 of those things pop dirty, and at the end of the day, it's way over, sorry, that lab is getting blacklisted, called out, it needs to be kicked the fuck out of the industry, the end, right? If it's within the variance, look, we'll be reasonable about it. If there's a disagreement between the labs, we'll figure out how that came to be. The other issue that we're going to tackle is this banned list or non-banned list of DCC substances, right? I'm open to look at that. I need to know more. I'm learning the science.
So he's referring to the stuff like, for example, Stiiizy, right? Stiiizy, it's not banned yet, but it's not good at all for you. It's so
on it, but that's something that we want to address, whether it be through marking product a certain way or not another way. If it doesn't ban your product, maybe certain product gets marked one way and certain product gets marked the other way. But what I've come to realize here is the way to clean up this game, the power is in the shelf and the power is with the retailers, right? The labs don't have any real power over it, right? At the end of the day, they probably have reverse power. Half the story breaking is the frustration of labs that can't get any business because they're not cheating, right? And I'm super glad everybody passed today. That doesn't mean that the entire industry is clean and that there's a bunch of labs that are good actors. So what we're going to do is we're going to root out the bad actors. And the power in the end, in all humility, lies with the shelf. And we're in a unique situation that we could use our shelf power to clean up the game and make sure what separates the legal market from the black market is that our product is safe and tested by multiple labs. And look, the DCC ain't going to do it. The labs don't have the power to do it. And we're going to have a diversity of labs such that we know what we're putting on the shelf is clean. And look, my motive is real fucking simple. It's weed for the people shit. We want to know that what we're selling is clean. I didn't get in this business to sell dirty fucking product. I'd rather put a bullet in my head. The end.
That's Elliot. Shout out to Elliot. So yeah, I do too. He's a good dude. So wow, they passed. So LA team. So this is the thing, right? Did they pass? It looks like they passed, but you know, like I said, I think that if they did pass or they did, it doesn't. I mean, I like the system that Elliot proposed here because it's a system of checks and balances, right? It's if you know they're going to send the same testing to 4 different labs or 5 different labs, and you can't bribe all of them, and it's gonna start to root out people that are bad actors. And so I do think that this is unfortunately the situation that needs to happen. And so do I think that the LA Times was completely BS? No, I don't think it was completely BS. Do I think that it was fully accurate? I don't know. Who knows? I would personally say I trust Alex from Week to Week, but I do think though that it's not showing the response to Jake Here's, that probably could have been like the full tight seal on it. Whatever. Point being is that I think that the system moving forward that Elliot proposed is by far the best that I've heard so far. Then again, like I said, it's still privately being done. It's still being done by just one company right now, or maybe more, hopefully. But it's not it's still a huge problem. But guys, this is just a complicated. This is a complicated situation for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not complicated in the sense of there should not be pesticides in any of our products. But I mean, if you look around in America nowadays, I mean, it's really tragic. I mean, like Monsanto or just all the processed foods, right? I mean, we're fed poison daily. I mean, like whether it's I got an addiction to chips. I love me some chips, and I've gotten better about holding off on them. But just like I mean, I look around and all the food that's available. I mean, it's toxic. It really is, and we've been smoking weed that has definitely had heavy metals in it, pesticides in it, and this is one of the things that at the very fucking least, if we're gonna get legalization, come on, guys, this is one of the main things that's actually beneficial when it comes to legalization. Let's just be real, right? But yeah, guys, really appreciate you guys for rocking with me here on this one. This one was a long one, man. We almost hit we're about to hit 2 hours here. Man, shout out to X, by the way. We're going strong on X. We got 182 people, by far the most on 182 people on X, 61 on or 70 on 2 YouTube channels. Big shouts out to everyone on X. Big shouts out to everyone on YouTube. If you guys aren't following me on YouTube or are not following me on X, go follow me, guys. The links are down below in the description. I'm going to be doing some giveaways soon. I still owe someone. I owe someone a giveaway. I owe someone a box of elements. By the way, if you were watching this, hit me up again. I need to, I think I know who you are. I need to hit you up and send that over to you. My apologies, but we are doing some giveaways over on X. So guys, make sure to go and follow me over there. It's LMCX Luke. We're going to be giving away full boxes of elements, unopened, some Zaza. Even got the full box of ethereals. We got a bunch of dope stuff. We're going to start doing a lot. We're going to pick back up the giveaways. We got the elements. Man, we got some other stuff as well. Is the UK included? I'm thinking we do. Yeah, the UK is included. Yeah, the UK is included for yeah, definitely. I also am like planning some trips out there soon. I really want to get out there. I got a shout out to the UK. I got family over in Manchester, London, Leeds. So, you know, I want to go over there, see them, and then also got to throw some events here. But yeah, guys, appreciate you all. I know I need some Vibes papers. I know. Where's Burn? Come on, where are they at? Where are they at, Burn? Or whoever got them for me. I love it. Yeah, guys. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, all that stuff. We're actually gonna start to do some events here soon. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna do events in Cali, Washington, New York, and then Texas, I think, are the ones we're planning right now. So where the swishes at, bruh? I don't know, man. Here's another box. An open box. Shout out to Yuzu Forest, by the way. The homies over at Yuzu. But yeah, guys, thanks for rocking with me. This was an interesting one. I got to get running here. What's your guys' thoughts, though, on everything? Yeah, the LA Times was a false flag. I don't know. It could be not. Yeah. By the way, too, we got a bunch of homegrown content. We got a bunch of content coming out on the Retro Tech YouTube channel. So if you're into breeding, you know, genetics, history of genetics, cultivation, go over there and subscribe. The link's down below as well. And yeah, guys, also we also have a business address. So if you want to send us any swag that you have of your brand or anything, you know, really, that's not illegal. We got the address down below. You can send us, you know, swag, whatever you want to do. We'll rock it. We'll represent. You know, we'll give you shout outs for sure. I appreciate you guys all for rocking with me. Thank you guys so much. Can't tell you guys that enough. And yeah, man, we're getting it cracking. We're getting it back cracking. We're about to go super hard here. The last 3 weeks, last month, we've been a little bit of a, you know, rest period, like hiatus, getting ready for the next few months, which we're about to go yay on. We're about to be releasing a bunch of just really dope stuff. So I'm excited to share that with y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love that channel. Yep. Shout out to Retro Tech. Shout out to my boy Hugh. Let's get it. All right, guys. Appreciate you all. Stay safe. Make good decisions. Keep grinding. Keep shining. And make sure you know what you're smoking on. Okay. These pesticides may not, you know, become apparent to you right away, but over time they can have some serious damage. Appreciate y'all. Oh, get an AC Infinity sponsor. Hook it up. AC Infinity, please hook it up. We got a bunch of homegrown content coming, so hook it up. All right. Appreciate y'all. This is LMC signing out.